at 27, a hardworking, honest man cannot even compete with the attention that you can get from the volume of men on social media. However, fast forward 20 years, at 47, you would give a limb to have an honest, hardworking man who dedicated his life to you instead of the volume of men who would give you momentary attention.
She believed the intersectional feminist girl boss lie, and how's that working out for you?
Does anyone else just work their ass off for like the last 3 or 4 years for like a college degree, and now you have a job that you hate and you still can't afford life and you're still miserable and you can't pay any of your bills and you can't live in the house that you imagine and you just feel lied to?
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
You thought that if you just went to college and got a degree, you'd be able to afford a house and like things that make you happy, but yet you're still barely can afford groceries or clothes or literally anything that makes you happy at all, and you had to spend the whole entire weekend in your bed because you literally don't have any money to go do anything other, like if you buy food you just can't have an entertainment budget. So I'm just wondering if anyone else is dealing with something like this or if it's just me, because this ain't it.
Gotcha, bitch.
Do you notice the men are no longer persuasive? Once they ask you out on a date and you say no, that's it. Yeah, because, honey, if he wanted to play games, he'd go over to his niece and nephew's house, maybe go play fetch with his dog at the dog park, I don't know, play on his fucking PlayStation. Anything is better than playing around with whatever kind of woman this mindset comes out of. Thank you. No lies were told today.
All right, woman says, do you notice that men are no longer persuasive? Once they ask you out on a date and you say no, that's it, with a little frustrated emoji. And guy replies, top comment, if I want to play games, I got a PlayStation. Oh, that's great. Well done from this guy. Yeah, you know what, man? If a girl's not interested, don't bother. Do your own thing. Focus on your own goals, your own purpose, or your PlayStation. There are better things to do than try to chase women these days. And ladies out there, a lot of guys are also worried about the whole Me Too movement, false allegations, and being labeled a creep. Women throw around the word creep for men so often these days that if a girl says no, yeah, leave her alone. Bye.
I cheated on my ex.
Yeah, I hurt him a lot because I'm also his first girlfriend and everything.
What was it that made you want to cheat on him?
I always wanted to like self-destruct, self-sabotage, but he was like best boyfriend. He treated me right. I don't know what happened, and that's my biggest regret.
Since our separation, I've been with someone who is better in bed. So Jen, after the breakup, there was someone else who was even better.
When we broke up, I was with someone that just gave me everything in the short amount of time that for 8 years I couldn't even feel with him.
I thought I gave my all, because that's all I knew.
We're like almost 30 now, like we should have like a family and kids. Or I mean like it's expected of me to have family and kids.
We don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
She belongs to the street.
The modern dating landscape has undergone a significant shift, with men increasingly refusing to chase women who engage in emotional manipulation or play games. In the past, some women thrived on the power they felt from stringing men along, keeping them emotionally captive and toying with their feelings. Whether in their 20s or pushing 40, these women often boasted about their ability to get whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, by keeping men on the hook, turning a no into a yes through persistence. But those days are rapidly fading. Men have wised up to the game and are no longer interested in wasting time or energy on someone who doesn't appreciate them. Instead of pleading for acceptance or groveling to change a no into a yes, many men now adopt a mindset of moving on quickly, recognizing their self-worth and prioritizing their own well-being. This shift has led to a new norm, where men are less willing to be emotional punching bags or human ATMs. The outdated belief that a no might secretly mean yes, but make me work for it, is increasingly being seen for what it is: manipulative and immature. Men today understand that a no should be taken at face value, and they're not interested in jumping through hoops just for the sake of it. This new approach leaves women, who once thrived on the thrill of emotional manipulation, scrambling as men walk away without looking back, As men become more aware of their worth and refuse to be strung along, women are noticing that their old tactics no longer work. Some are even backtracking, realizing they may have shot themselves in the foot by playing these immature and reckless games. They're coming to terms with the fact that the era of keeping men in the friend zone, or as convenient fallbacks, is over. I've experienced this shift firsthand. After asking a girl out and being left on red, she later tried to re-engage with a crafted no, possibly to impress her friends, or play hard to get. Instead of pursuing her, I responded with a simple, okay, and moved on. When she tried to reconnect weeks later, I left her on red, not willing to waste my time on someone who didn't value my initial interest. This isn't about holding grudges or being resentful. It's about self-respect and understanding that men have options. The modern man is no longer content with being strung along or treated as a backup plan. They've embraced the idea that there's a whole world out there, full of possibilities, and they're not going to waste time on someone playing mind games. Women who are upset that men aren't content being strung along in the friend zone, or treated like disposable options, are beginning to realize that their power trip is over. The days of simping and being a backup plan are long gone. Men are waking up to their value and are no longer willing to settle for less than they deserve. In this new era, men are moving on to where they're appreciated and are embracing relationships where their worth is acknowledged.
You want a guy to be a provider, correct? When you get married, how much of the household income do you want to be contributing?
Like money-wise?
Yeah. You want him to be the sole breadwinner, correct?
Yes.
You think you'll be able to get that, correct?
Yes.
How many men do you think can go out into the dating marketplace and want to provide zero financially and expect to get a partner?
I don't know.
Very, very few. The vast majority of women, as a lot of the women here answered, I want a guy who makes at least as much as me or more. Or I want a guy to be the sole provider. So could it be the case that the reason that there's a patriarchy and that men occupy the highest positions of power and the most desirable jobs and make the most money is because there's a mating pressure on men that does not exist in women?
Well, that's because we don't have to. No means no. If I go up to a girl and I ask her, hey, let's meet up sometime, or hey, let's go out, and she doesn't say yes, she says anything but a yes, then it's a no. And as a man, you move on, because as I've said in previous videos, women are choosing men. Men are not selecting women, women are selecting men. Whoever has the most options are the ones who does the choosing. Even as a man, I have a lot of options, but I have a lot of options as a man. If you put your average girl next to me, she's going to have more options than me, right? Okay, you know, I could get 100 matches on Hinge, for example, and then out of those 100 matches, only about 10 of them I might meet up with. And with those 10, I might only have about 3 or 4 that are actually interested in me. And mind you, I'm an attractive male by the standards of what women deem attractive. Am I going to be everyone's cup of tea? No. But the reality is, as a man, you only pursue those that want to be pursued. Okay? You will only go out with those who actually want your time and attention. Back in the day, men would apply pressure. But you know why? It's because you would get rewarded. You took a girl out several times and you guaranteed your spot in her life. That's how it was. You know, essentially your provision was landing you the girl. All you had to do was go through some dates, and if you liked her, she was yours. Now that's not the case anymore. A girl, you could go out with her as many times as you want, and she doesn't have to give you nothing in return. In fact, she doesn't ever have to do nothing for you. So that's the reality of what dating looks like for a man in 2023. So as you can see with all those comments, the reality is men will ask you once, maybe twice, and that's it. And a lot of women don't understand that most men also have issues with communication just like they do. So sometimes they can't read you if you're joking. Like I know if I'm with a girl and we're laughing and I say, you know, I say something like, oh, we're going to go back to my place later. And she's like, haha, no, you know, and, you know, stop joking or whatever. But she's being playful with it and she's flirting with me, then that's not really a no. It's obvious, right? That's just reading the room. It's reading the tone and body language. In fact, the men that are experienced are the ones who can read it. Okay, so someone like myself, I can instantly read if a girl wants to further our date or go a little bit more intimate. But a lot of guys don't know how to do that, and they can't even see the signs. So like I said, no means no. It's so easy, even a fucking caveman can do it.
I had an ex that did everything to pursue me. I am talking wine and dine, have these deep emotional moments with me. I mean, we would cry together. He would write these love letters to me. I mean, one day I remember saying I was sick, and maybe like 20 minutes later, there was a knock on my door, and my doorman came up, and he had delivered soup for me. Oh. And I think even a humidifier. This is so random. I was sick and like clean, like, a whole thing.
Yeah, right.
And this was like the norm for the first 2 years of our relationship, to the point where even his family and his friends were like, this is a changed man. We've never seen this version. So, and that fed my ego. That made me feel like, oh my gosh, like I've changed him. He's totally different. This is real. This is true. And then 2 years into the relationship, once the love experience, the in-love experience had ended, he was a completely different person. He was cold.
It wasn't because he was a completely different person. It was because he got tired of trying. He got tired of putting in the effort. He got tired of putting in all the sacrifices that he was doing to make you happy, and he probably was not getting the same effort in return. That's what he got tired of. 2 years. Sound like this man was doing everything and beyond to make sure that you was okay. And what did you do in response to what he was giving you? How were you giving him the same effort that he was giving you? How are you reciprocating the same effort that he was giving you? Sounds like you didn't do much, because she even said, that fed my ego. And one thing about females, once they get a massive head, they get a massive ego, you can't tell them shit. It goes in one ear and out the other.
And that concludes today's discussion on MGTOW voice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on future videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video.